Hola familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. As you guys can see from today's title of the video, I'm doing my Pan Those Eyeshadows finale. I have my 5 shades here that I want to talk to you guys about. I warned you guys last time that this may not be the best update that I have, but we're here. I want to share with you guys my thoughts on everything, how many pans I hit this year in this project pan, what my future goals are with this project pan, and so on and so forth. So if that's something that interests you, stay tuned. But first, if you're new to my channel, welcome to la familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a Dash project pan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us, and now let's get on with the finale. Alright you guys, so let's start out with the ones that I didn't even use once. I'm gonna be blunt and honest with you guys. Some of these I didn't use at all. As you guys know, I told you guys the last month of the year, I just want to play around, play with the new makeup, play with my Black Friday sale stuff, Cyber Monday, Christmas stuff. I will bring this project pan back in January. I might tweak it up a little bit again like I have the last 2 years, just to make it work for me a little bit more. But I found that I am happy with the way that it happened this year with this project pan because I had certain goals that I wanted to accomplish, and I think I did. So let's start out with the first pan project.
Oh my goodness gracious, get your mind together, Alex.
The first palette that I want to share with you guys today, and that is my California Love. This is the second round that this palette was in here. You're not gonna see any updated footage of these because honestly, you guys, some of these I only used one time. So there is no point of me filming a footage of them now because there is no change, you guys. There is no change. So this one I used 7 times, I believe, and that's where it stayed. I didn't use this again. I didn't touch it again. The shadow was Soul Surfer, which was right over here. I'm going to be blunt and honest with you guys. After October, I did not feel like reaching for this as much. I just don't care for this kind of color story. I'm more into this color story, burgundies, the blues, the cooler tones, the violet cool tones kind of stuff. Like that's what I'm into right now. And this just didn't do it for me. Just didn't do it for it. I will say that I did reach for a lot more other shadows in this palette than I did the one that I was supposed to. I reached for this shade, and this shade a lot. A lot for my simple looks, but I didn't reach for the one that was in here. It'll go back into my collection. I will, though, say that I'm proud of how used this palette does look. At least it looks used, and if somebody would open this up, they wouldn't think I'm just having it there as a trophy or something. The other ColourPop palette that I had here, this was, I believe, the second round as well. The Going Coconuts one. The shadow I rolled in was Nutty, which is right over here. I only used this one once. Once or twice, I can't remember, but I only used it once or twice, that was it. I did overall use this palette a lot. More of these shades up here, the most, especially these 2 shades, this center, this one, this shadow right here, the brow bone shade right here, I used that one a lot. This was my church palette. This was my palette that I didn't feel like using too much color in. I wanted a quick look, nothing too extravagant on the eyes, maybe a bold lip. This is the one I was reaching for. When I brought this in this project pan, it was brand new, and now when you guys see it, you can see that it is well loved. I can tell, and I open this up, you could tell that I have used it. It's not something that's brand new anymore. So I met that goal, but I didn't hit the 20 uses or pan in this. That chocolate brown, I was just not interested in using that one as much. If I would have gotten one of these other ones, I would have went hard, but that one, I only used it once. The only palette I rolled in last month was the Natasha Denona Bronze palette, and I rolled in Magma. You guys, I only used this one time. I went on a date night with Mr. Man, a surprise date night. He literally told me 24 hours before we were going on a date night, and this is the shadow that I decided to use all over the lid as a smoky eye. This is my favorite color shade to use as a smoky eye on myself. I think it just flatters me so well. I get a ton of compliments every time I put on some sort of like orangey red brown all over my eyes. It just looks really nice on my eyes. It makes my brown eyes pop, and that's the only time I wore it. I used this shadow one time. And if I were to choose my favorite shadow out of this whole palette, it would be that one. So I'm kind of glad I got it, but I just wasn't interested in using that all the time. I wanted to play around. So I only got one use out of that shade. You can tell that this palette is well loved, so I'm not upset about it because I really want my palettes to look more well loved, and one time. At least I reached for it once. Now, if you guys thought I was doing bad there, wait till you hear the last two. My single came from my Looksy collection. This is my single that I rolled in Matcha. I used this shadow once and only once. You guys, I think it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it, but I really don't want to use a green all the time. I want to play around with different shades. I want to use more of my lip color, so I'm trying to do more bold looks. And this kind of deterred me from that. I just didn't care to reach for it. I didn't want to. I got over it. Even though this is a beautiful evergreen shade, it looks really nice with this whole entire look that I'm wearing today, I just didn't really want to reach for it. I really didn't want to center a look around that green shade. I'm not gonna lie to you, I gave hope on the last month. I only used this one time and that was it. And then for the last one was my Natasha Denona Safari palette. I rolled in Masai, which was this beautiful cranberry berry shade down here. Unfortunately, I didn't even use that once. Not even one time, you guys. I have a harder time, I've noticed, to reach into a palette that's all matte. I want color, I want different formulas, different variations for me to do different looks. For me, this would be boring. Even though it's colorful, it still would be a little bit boring to me because I don't see any dimension to my eye looks. And it deterred me from reaching for this palette. And not to mention that I didn't really want to reach for these shadows anyway. I'm not even gonna try to sugarcoat it, you guys. I gave up the last one. I didn't use this once, not even once, you guys, and I'm okay with that. You know what? I'm okay because I really got to use other fun stuff, older palettes and things, so I'm not upset about it. So right now I want to share with you guys my whole entire year's worth of eyeshadow color combos that I did get in randomize, and then I'll talk to you guys how many pans I hit overall in this project pan. Alright, you guys, welcome back. I hope you guys enjoyed all of my color stories of this year. I think I got a nice variety. I didn't get anything that was very similar to one another, and I think that also has to do with the fact that I own so many palettes and singles that I can get a lot of variety and fun textures throughout my year of panning all of my shadows. Now this year, I shouldn't say this year, last year I wanted to hit 24 eyeshadow pans in this project pan. I was a few shy of that. That's 2 pans a month. This year, I did not exceed that goal, and I didn't even think I would hit it, to be honest with you guys, because my mentality when it comes to project panning has shifted this year. As you guys know, I'll probably do some sort of video in the future, but as you guys know, I have gotten to a point where a lot of my things are harder for me to pan. I no longer have easy things to pan. Everything's gonna take time and a usage, and I'm not about to hear and like dig into my products just to show some progress for you guys. So that, and the fact that I want my makeup to look more used and abused than to use it up or hit pan constantly on just one shadow and have the rest of the palette look brand new, that also shifted on my mentality. So my goal this past year was more to get more use out of a palette as a whole instead of just concentrating on one shadow. For instance, with this one, my shadow was this one, but I got so much use out of the whole entire palette, and it looks unified and used completely, not just one shadow dug into and the rest brand spanking new. So that has been my mindset this past year, and going forward, I want to continue that in my whole entire collection overall. So because of that, I only hit 7 pans this year on this project pan. Do I feel a little bit upset about that? Yeah, I wish I would have at least hit 10 to 12, but I did get a ton of hard, very, very difficult shadows to pan. And I got a lot of mattes this year that were very difficult to hit pan in 20 uses. I also changed my usage goal this year from 30 to 20 to allow myself to be able to get to more palettes quicker throughout the year and use more throughout the year. So that also plays a role in hitting pan. I wish I would have at least hit 10. I was 3 off. I understand now where I stand, how I feel, what I'm going to do next year. And you guys, I'll set it up next year when I bring this project pan back in January. I'm not going to stop. I'm not deterred. I had a lot of fun again the second time. And as I continue to do this project pan, I learn more. I learn about what I want. I learn about what it is that my end goal is in my whole entire collection, and how to get there and have fun. Because the whole point of this is to have fun. I don't want this to be a second job. I don't want this to be a chore, because then it will no longer be fun and I'll completely abandon the whole thing and not do it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm not upset a lot. I wish I would have had more pans, but 7 is better than 0, right? 7 is better than 0, and I understand why that happened, and I'm not upset about it at all. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is, and I'll just move on and learn from it and figure out more ways of how to get to my goals that I want to, so I'm not upset. I hope you guys enjoyed it this year. I had a lot of fun doing this. Like I said, this will be back in January. I'll reiterate all of my rules if I'm tweaking anything in January, so that way you guys are well aware of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put my videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.